unhealthy sugars that are killing us, that is destroying our bodies, right? That's what we're going to be talking about. All right. How to stop it, how to help, manage the weight with the cravings and getting rid of.
I don't want to.
We don't want to. But Carlos and I are going to share how we did it. And
some tricks.
We're gonna help you get through it.
Yes.
Getting rid of the sugars. Hey, it's Ingrid.
And Carlos.
And
Catch
today
me off guard all the time.
We're talking
like
about...
you don't know me, right? You're asking me where.
We're talking about ditching sugar, getting rid of our sugar cravings, and we have three concepts that we're gonna go through, right? So
Okay.
The number one, we're gonna stop eating refined sugar. Number two, replace the unhealthy sugar with healthy sugar, and number three, reduce sauces, condiments, all of that
That's
stuff.
something that everybody talks, refined sugars and unhealthy sugars, kind of the same thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like
So
I grew up on the white sugar.
Is there something like a healthy sugar? Or all the sugars are bad?
Well, I do maple syrup, I do date syrup, I do, right? But let's talk about how to get rid. What we're focused on is how did we stop eating refined sugars?
Interesting subject, because
So each of us has our take on how we stopped, right? So how did we stop eating refined sugars? How did we get ourselves to wean ourselves off? We both have our own story to tell how we did it, but we're going to share how you can now do it for yourselves, because at this point we're not eating any refined sugars. We are only eating healthy sugars when we do eat it. We could say we do our cheat stuff every now and then, but really it's not part of our lifestyle, it's not part of our diet.
yes,
Right?
I'm not cheating. And it reminds me, I always tell the same story about addictions, because I think that the way sugar kicks in our brain and our emotional state is it provoking an addiction. And I think that we have to start treating sugars as addictive and toxic.
Yes.
Because we're not technical, I'm not a doctor, right? But you know that it has an impact on heart issues, diabetes 1, 2, and 3.
The heart.
All the issues that sugar has. So it puts in a toxic, in the side of the toxic stuff that we...
So first, I'm going to say we have to believe that it's toxic. If you don't believe it's toxic, okay, you're probably going to keep eating the sugar.
Well, you can ask your doctor, right? It's such a...
No, I want to make it personal. So we had to make our own way with letting go of... for me, I loved O. Henry bars. That was one. I could not... I remember doing like one sugar detox for 7 months. I made it for 7 months without eating chocolate. And then once I started back, I just binge. Right?
Yes.
I don't know if you have any... What are your stories about sugar?
No. Well, I used to love ice cream. I still love ice creams. But we are here in Canada. In days like today with storms, I was eating ice cream outside, doing the shoveling in snow with a bucket of ice cream. Okay, that crazy. No, see, when we are saying that we are talking from our experience, we know what we are talking.
But what does that look like? You have a tub of ice cream in your hand and you're shoveling snow?
Yes, so I leave the bucket there with a spoon, and I continue shoveling, right?
So it becomes a motivator.
Yes, because it's so that will give you a little bit of an idea of how much do I like it, sugars. The thing is that same happens. coming back to my idea of analogy, I was making the analogy with smoking, because
I don't know when was that you made an analogy.
35 years ago I was a smoker.
Okay.
40 years ago, and the thing is that the thing that people don't talk so much about that is it tastes good.
Unfortunately, so let's kind of clear that.
Unfortunately, it tastes good, so it's something that you have to.
The taste of sugar, the smoking is an addiction.
Yes.
And the correlation between the addiction of smoking and the addiction of sugar
is that it makes you feel good.
Okay. All right.
That's why I relate sugars with smoking or whatever other addiction, right?
Okay.
Because I consider that it's an addiction in the say that it makes you feel something that is not true, really, right? It's if you drink, if you smoke, or you
feel good.
It makes you feel good, right? Yeah. So it's temporary, absolutely, it's temporary. Yeah. It's superficial, yes, it's superficial, but it takes you out from the anxiety, from whatever, right? Because addictions have that property that it gives you an instant relief of something. Is the full solution of your issues, problems, whatever. No, it's not.
We're just focusing on sugar. So our main point, what we're starting with, is stop eating refined sugar. So how did you stop eating refined sugars?
It was similar to the smoking. Mm-hmm. It has to be your choice. It's a
Did you quit cold turkey? I didn't quit cold turkey. I tried, like I said, once. It lasted 7 months of cold turkey. And then I had zero willpower, and I went right back to
it. So similar to bouncing into smoking, because when I was a smoker, I quit many times, and you bounce back, right?
Yeah.
Sugars was something similar. What happened is that you start seeing, you don't have the judgment of the sugars. If you eat sugar, nothing happens. If you eat the candy, nothing happens.
At night, so
nothing happens. The thing is that you start being aware that something is not going fine in your body, right?
What did you feel?
Well, I start having issues like aging issues, like blood pressure and.
Okay, so some of you that's listening to it, you're probably having issues, blood pressure. We had that I could identify with growing up. We always dealt with parasites. We called it worms. But the more you ate the sugar, you would see these little spots show up on your face. And my grandmother and my parents, they identified it as worm spots. So sometimes that sugar craving that we are just, like you said, enjoying. We're feeding parasites. It's one of the ways that at least from the cultural standpoint, that's how we know that we're feeding worms, because they'll see that you're eating so much sugar, and you tend to not gain weight. That's another sign of the parasite. So there's little indicators if you from a non-scientific standpoint or from alternative medicine. That's going to show you that your sugar craving addiction could also be a parasite problem.
Yes, as I was saying, it's a conscious decision
to stop.
Well,
we also have medical motivated, poor health motivator. Carlos said for him it was high blood pressure. For me, it was the fact that I was having tons of issues with inflammation, anemia. My body was just metabolizing terribly.
Yes, let's say the marker to me was blood pressure, but I have another marker that was my size, right? Because you start
weight gain.
You start increasing weight. Slowly, right? After 30, 40 years old, you start increasing weight, and it's kind of...
Even before that, if you're struggling with obesity and you're under 30 something, but
exactly.
your
In,
woman
in my
was
case, was
like,
after 40, perhaps I was started having more extra pounds.
yeah.
But you said well, it's not so bad, right?
It's
It's,
subtle.
it's
It's a little
subtle,
bit, right?
but at a given point, always happens to us, is that we wake up one day and say, what is happening here? How do I get to this point, right? We live in an autopilot and we justify ourselves with, it's not so bad. And we start engaging into the habit, right? So you have to make your conscious decision and say, okay, this is not good.
Yeah.
I start learning. So reading, I have a couple of books about ketogenic. That's where keto start turning in my head. What is that? What is that approach? How do you change to low carb diet? What is that
You
low
started
carb diet?
searching for better ways of eating.
Exactly, and there are other people that looks at that in a different point of view. My background, I told you, my background, I was a vegan for
Well,
perhaps
let's
10
tell
years.
them they are so. Carlos, I know we've shared a couple of videos about the being vegan,
Yes.
right? But even being vegan, did you eat processed sugars then when you were vegan?
Well, it's not bad. You have other kind of sugars that are more healthy or healthier sugars than the refined sugar.
Then the refined, yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
but and that's part of another conversation that is carbs in general, right?
Well, mainly we're talking about sugars. So
yes,
let's stick with the
stay with the
issues.
sugars, right?
Yeah. So,
So being vegan is mainly carbs, mainly.
what's your sugars? Because I've never been vegan. Vegetarian, I've been vegetarian.
Honey?
Honey. Oh, yeah. Yes. Honey, to me, honey is a healthy sugar. I have honey as a healthy sugar. I have maple syrup as a healthy sugar,
Yeah,
I have date syrup as a healthy sugar.
Dates and fruits. What happens is that we are not, until we start digging a little more about sugars, and we are not conscious about insulin and what is the role of insulin, like a hormone, in our system. So when you start understanding that how insulin goes up and down depending on the amount of insulin to regulate, you start being aware of, okay, I'm doing something wrong.
Yes,
So to
yes.
me, my father was diabetic, type 2.
Yes.
To me, that is something that it's a disease,
Yeah.
and it was not related to diet.
Okay.
It's a disease. You are diabetic.
Yeah.
And nowadays we understand that it's directly, there's a correlation with the amount of sugar that you have
Yeah.
and becoming diabetic, right?
Yes.
1, 2, and 3,
yeah.
whatever is
My grandmother one of my grandmothers had diabetes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so an excessive exposure to sugars,
To sugar.
and mainly refined sugars
Yes.
that are, because, okay, not getting to the details, but the refined sugars are critical. The white sugar.
So let's because I'm mindful of how we want to make sure we said from the beginning with this channel that we want to give you exact things that you can take away and use.
Yeah.
So the first thing, again, I'm going to revisit it. It's stop eating refined sugars.
The white sugar.
White sugar.
exactly.
I actually, so my transition was, I'm going to give up the white sugar because it's so bad. And I was reading in that moment brown sugar. So I went over to brown sugar. And then I found out, well, sometimes the white sugars just died. I don't know if I'll get blocked for saying this, that it's not really real cane sugar, brown sugar, sugar with molasses. That was something I had to learn over a period of time. How I learned this is that I would, with white sugar, I always broke out. So I had lots of acne issues with my sugar craving. And I would eat brown sugar. And every now and then I'd break out. And I tried different types of brown sugar, different brands. And somewhere in there is someone or some people or within the alternative medicine, I started to question is how legit is our brown sugar? But that was my marker.
Yes, well,
That was one of
there are
the
other
things.
refined
So
sugars.
if you have, I'm going to say, if you have white sugar in your house right now, I'm going to tell you put it in a bag. That would be the beginning.
Let it go.
Let it go, let it go.
Yes, yes.
Let go of the white sugar. That
The-
is the number one first.
Yes, because it's
step.
the more common, perhaps. We have other sugars that are bad also. You can Google that and check. There are the sugars that are highly refined corn or
Corn syrup. Oh, yeah. So eventually you had to
even worse.
get rid of.
What happens is they are
sugar.
mixed on our cookies or whatever we eat, and we don't see as clearly that are white sugar, right? It's already in the mix. So cookies are fantastic.
So you have to read the ingredients.
Yes.
You have to read the ingredients.
Maltodextrin. The thing, that's why I was talking, just barely touching the thing about insulin, is whatever thing that makes insulin to spike.
Okay.
Even now we know, we were checking a little more now, even things that are not exactly sugars, they make insulin spike. So we have to be like a way more aware of what are the elements that you have to try to avoid.
Yeah.
So let's say homework. Thank you. Homework is check the ingredients of the things that you are eating, mainly if it tastes sweet.
And you don't have to go anywhere. Just go to your kitchen.
Exactly.
And just start to, because I don't believe in, it didn't work for me, so I don't recommend cold turkey. Cold turkey, anything, I personally think doesn't work. I think it's just a temporary fix as opposed to gradually letting go of something and then putting in a new into the equation.
Yeah, I think that it requires. It's so it's so challenging because, for instance, when I switch in my personal case, when I switch from regular food to keto.
So that was before vegan? I mean,
after it was after a few years ago, in fact.
Yeah.
Before carnivore.
Within the time I met you.
Yes, before being carnivore. I switched cold turkey a couple of times, but I'm not standard or an example to follow. I'm going to say like this, because I have I was not exposed to sugar as much since I was a kid, so I like sugars, but it's not that I have a terrible addiction to sugars, but I do like sugars. Okay. But for instance, things are happening here. That eventually you're going to know what it's.
Touching the, yeah, okay.
Okay.
It's not on camera, but you see my feet reaching over. Okay.
No, you don't see it. Okay. So. Yes.
Sorry. So.
Okay.
Let's back up.
Yes. Where were we?
The keto. So
yes, I was saying that I switched to keto, for instance, like nothing, and I was able to, when I switched to, I did a period of what is called OMAD, 1 meal a day, and I was able to switch. Why? Well, because I was used to do fasting, right? So there were a few things that are, or resources that I was using that to me were, they were not, how to say, foreign, were not strange to me, right?
Yeah,
I was
so
used
off,
to,
right?
And so far off. Thank you. So change from regular food to keto was not such a big deal.
Okay. But mainly with sugars, where did because right now we know the difficulty of the cravings. I know because I used to literally get in my car. I don't care what, I would find a 24-hour grocery store and I would go and I would buy chocolate chip cookies, especially when I was on my period. Right? So it has nothing to do with keto, carnivore.
I was doing that with ice cream.
This is you.
Yeah.
So we really want to stay on point with how we got ourselves to stop. For me, I started to delay, instead of a couple bags of chocolate chip cookies, I started to eat a little less. And yes, it did correlate with my health issues, the amount of pain I was in, so there are times when I'm in the car and I'm like, nope, get back out, go back home.
Exactly. It's as I was saying, the conscious decision that you have to make, because you are going to have to start. You need to start controlling the amount of sugar that you eat.
But I had to believe. To me, it's down to belief. I had to believe that my sugar, that particular sugar, was not good for me.
Look, it's so interesting, because quitting sugars is so painful, it's so difficult, that doctors, my personal take, that doctors prefer to manage insulin. Mm-hmm. That is a hormone with so delicate balance and impact right in your body. Try to manipulate insulin than sugars. Sugar is stop eating sugars and you have no more problems with diabetes. Stop eating sugar.
Yes.
But it's so complicated. They prefer to go to insulin and try to take a hand. How is it? Take a handle.
Like handle it, manage it. Mm-hmm.
Try to manage insulin in our bodies, than to say, you know what, stop eating sugars and you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't succeed, right? The success rate is zero.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm saying I'm talking from the standpoint of my own process, and I've helped my clients go through the same type of process. It's that you start where you are. Don't challenge the craving. To me, it's pointless to challenge a craving. Just like Carlos is saying, that doctors are managing insulin instead of challenging that craving, and it does take a little bit of willpower. But you need to believe that it's toxic. When you put the white sugar in that bag, you need to understand that if you do take it back out and you start mixing it in your tea and your coffee, it is going to have a destructive effect on your body.
And the willpower is also, besides sugar, it's nice to put into exercise, right? To put something like a muscle.
To practice.
To start going to the gym. It's good to start moving that.
So I don't know if you did this, but I would buy the bag of chocolate chip cookies, and I would look at it, and I would put it aside, and I would practice how much I was able to not eat.
Well, that was fantastic. It's a great, because to me, I was my grieving was to start staring at grieving. Yes,
like sadness.
Yes, it's like to be at the grocery and start watching behind the glass, the ice cream. I'm not gonna buy you.
I know it is a relationship.
It was terrible, but you feel so good when you say, you know what, I'm passing to the cashier, right, and say no ice cream.
You're able to walk.
Then you feel like a champion.
Yes.
So
that is point one. That's his first step, is stop eating refined sugars. It is a journey. And you could be, hills and valleys. Sometimes it's better on other days. Sometimes it's
try to conquer those little moments. If you are eating cookies, stop. Say, who has the power? That's why I say smoking, right? Who has the power here, right? Is it going to be the cookie having the power, or is it going to be me? Who is going to set the limit?
And sometimes the cookies have the power.
The box is empty, that's a limit, or it's me saying, you know what, that half a box is for tomorrow.
Yes.
And we stop now.
Yes. That was the challenge too, because I would count it out in rows. Each row had a certain amount.
But if you pick up one from the following row.
That used to be a victory if I'm able to just stop at the row. And sometimes, I pick up another one from the other row, but that was a victory. I was able to
Yes, you have to you
craving.
have to start in somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to start,
Yeah.
and that exercise is gonna take a while until you are strong, like to make a, another move, right?
Yes. When you said you have to start like from somewhere, it reminds makes me think of some of the our more popular motivational speakers like Anthony Robbins and Jim Rohn, and they always talk about the action. The action. Just do something. The action doesn't matter what you do. Just do
Yes, and
something.
that's something that you also you talk you talk somewhere where you are talking about what are the actions that are supportive actions,
Oh
right?
yes, yes.
That is
Yeah.
something I found very interesting because it was other subject, right?
Yes, yes.
But let's say that you want to, in this case, you want to achieve is to quit sugar. So
The sugar.
what
Yeah.
other things can you do to support that?
Yes.
From the not buying, that could be one.
Yeah. The environment.
The environment, so not buying,
start working
that
on
could be
that.
one. Perhaps physical activity. Perhaps
It didn't. I can't say that my exercise had anything to do with my ability to overcome my cravings. Personally, I don't. I don't find that.
But
That
to
wasn't
me,
a
that
correlation.
is at least start compensating you start consuming glucose that is on your bloodstream, and lowering the amount of sugar that you have in your blood. That is going to reduce the amount of insulin that you need. Is going to make, okay, it's technical, but the insulin is going to start having more impact. It's insulin sensitivity, but it's going to start having more impact if there is not required all the time.
Yes, yes, and that is the physiological.
There's a physiological, but it also you are going to feel that the less you start eating, the less cravings you start having. I'm not saying that it's a game changer, but is giving you a little relief that if you are able to start controlling a little bit your sugars, it's going to become easier.
Yeah.
Because
And
reduce the amount of sugar, and because you are becoming stronger also.
And my awareness of that, when I was saying no, I was in my head thinking that I ate less, but my sugar craving was habit driven. It was emotional. It was very much
obviously.
Even
we start
when
talking
I
about
was
that.
doing the
It
right
makes you
kind
feel
of-
good.
Yeah, but even when I was doing the right type of like eating healthier, I was exercising. The willpower really wasn't. That's what I was saying. For me, it wasn't the exercise. It was my ability to not get in the car when I didn't have any sugar in my house. That type of comfort. Don't get in the car, or don't walk down the street, or before I had a car, I would get on the bus. Like this was serious. I wasn't playing to go and get the sugar, else I wouldn't be able to sleep like that. But in that moment, I have to say, I didn't think of it as an addiction. I thought of it as my reward. It was a comfort. I deserved it. You know, that kind of experience, right?
Yes.
So, like Carlos is saying, I know now. You could say, okay, you know better, and you're mindful of the insulin spikes, but 12 a.m. at night, 3 a.m. in the morning, the most important thing is to either eat less of that sugar or have a glass of water. Try to extend
brush your teeth.
Have an extend.
That's
that's
fantastic.
another one that they say.
It's a fantastic trick.
Yeah.
Silly trick, I would say.
Yeah.
You brush your teeth, and I don't know what it makes. It removes the craving in that moment, or you forget. I don't know.
And someone actually says that also helps you to build the willpower. I didn't use that. I found out about that later with the brushing the teeth, but I have heard of it, and but it does actually increase your willpower to not do the thing that you don't want to do. Right?
Yes.
So this is for someone, you're listening to this, and this is because you know you are ready to stop eating sugar. You know why you are not going to.
Yes,
eat
you
sugar
are getting to that
anymore.
point, right?
Yes.
and start
And you're
looking
having
for
some kind of push.
yes, and you
right?
start looking for other sources of sugar.
Yes. So let's talk about that. Stop. So the second one is replace our unhealthy sugar with healthy sugar. Right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you still have what this means is that you still have a craving, you are still addicted to sugar, but now you're going to switch it out. So one thing that I know I personally had to do, I started to research and then eventually implemented it, vegan sugars over the refined sugars.
Nice.
Right? Eventually keto stuff came on the market, but that was years later. In that moment, it was more vegan or vegetarian.
Well, you have a bunch of options now, fortunately. You have a bunch of options. For instance, sometimes I do in my coffee, I like black coffee, but sometimes I like it with a little bit of sweet taste. So
what's
you
the
have
sugar
your
that you use?
or stevia or Splenda, what is that commercial name, right? Those are alcohols, I think. So it doesn't matter. Whatever
alcohol-based sugars.
Yes, whatever substance that doesn't spike insulin, that doesn't.
That's the key.
Because the thing is,
healthy.
what elements act as if it's a sugar, right? That you try to avoid those ones, because the problem on the body is that your insulin goes up because it's trying to lower down your insulin, and all that excess of sugars is going to be stored.
Yeah, yeah.
Stores as energy, as fat, but it's going to be stored. So and you start piling up fat, right? So what you want to avoid is having that excess amount of sugar or reaction from same thing, or reaction from the insulin side. So look for sugars that are based on alcohol. The stevia, there are a bunch of monk fruit, there are a bunch of sugars that are, and they are quite nice. It doesn't taste the same. So yes, I'm not lying. It doesn't taste the same. But right now, let's say after when you are adapt, sugar tastes bad. It doesn't. I cannot stand this. It happens. When it was, we were for Christmas. Christmas, your sister's place, and someone said, "Oh, this is it's just water with some flavor." I said, "Oh, fantastic!" It was a brand, very well-known brand. So, oh, fantastic! I tasted and see.
So, what is that? Was that a drink?
Yes, a kind of a sparkling water with some taste. And I check. Yes, 36 grams. Says is in Spanish. 36 grams of sugar, right? Okay. On the sparkling water with a little bit of taste.
Yes.
A little bit of taste. Yes. It's like a Coke, let's say. Okay, so thing is, there are replacements.
There are replacements, and you have to do a little bit of homework. But right now, the replacements that we can tell you that we have actually used and are continuing to use ourselves, it's Splenda, stevia, any monk fruit. It's another one that's an alcohol-based type sugar. We use that sometimes for baking, I believe.
Or I have a few for baking.
So we have.
I don't remember the names.
Yeah.
But are the ones for baking, and it tastes so good.
Yeah. The ones that I know I use in my shakes. Yeah, delicious.
The cheesecake. Okay.
The ones I use in my shakes, it's maple syrup. I don't necessarily use date syrup so much anymore, but I that's at the top of my list. If I'm gonna buy, if I need to, I will do that. Still do honey every now and then for my tea, but that's pretty much it that I'm mindful of that's actually in our kitchen right now in terms of sugars that we consider to be healthy, doesn't spike insulin, and we're not having an inflammatory side effect.
That's another side effect,
when it actually metabolizes.
Exactly.
But the one thing I wanted to share in terms of sugar from the energy standpoint, because we eat it and like, oh, okay, we're like the Energizer bunny after because it's spiked.
Yes.
But it's more from the standpoint of Chinese medicine. It's when you are at work and it may be the 2:30 in the day and suddenly you're needing something. That's when it's low kidney energy. So you have to get yourself prepared. And one of the ways that I remember I used to do that was water with some fruit. So it could be water and a bit of strawberries, water and some blueberries, water and some, because there's a low kidney energy happening in that moment, and it tends to mask itself as a need for some type of sugar. And then it also happens sometimes if you are awake late at night, we do another cycle of kidneys and it's looking for something. So that's from looking for something in terms of you're going to have some feeling of a craving, and that's one of the ways you can do a workaround. Before I learned about the whole kidney energy, I was definitely doing an O. Henry bar, eat more, some kind of chocolate bar with nuts, and I thought I was good to go. So, all right. So unhealthy sugars versus healthy sugars, and our last thing that we wanted to talk about as our third point was reduce sauces and condiments. So I don't know how that has played out in your life.
Not really well, because back home we are not strong on spices. First, hot spices we don't use it too much, except pepper a little bit. But it's not. There are other Latino cultures that are very strong on hot spices. We use a bunch of spices like herbs, like oregano or bay leaves, or simple stuff,
So
right?
I'm gonna
for giving some flavor to
I'm gonna
it.
educate Carlos on the North American thing of sauces and condiments. We would put ketchup on everything. So ketchup was on our macaroni and cheese. Ketchup was on our rice. Ketchup was on our. Okay, don't judge. Then you'd go to. Sometimes we'd go back home, and the fried chicken. Back home, Trinidad and Tobago fried chicken had ketchup and mustard mix, the best fried chicken in the world. But overall, it's the barbecue sauce on top of the meat. It's the I don't know, dipping sauces with the pizza and the breadsticks. Is that all sounding familiar now? The sauces. I mean, since moving here, since coming.
Oh
here.
yes, after.
Since coming here.
Yes, right? a lot, and everything has a sauce.
Everything has a sauce.
Why? But it tastes good.
Don't knock it. Don't judge.
No, but it's yes, it tastes good.
So, but these sauces, they're sugar. Majority are sugar based. Our gravies, oh my gosh, chicken, Swiss chalet chicken with the gravy and I remember in high school, after school, we would go to places where you had fries and gravy. Fries and gravy.
It's such a bad combination.
Poutine, fries.
I tried just once.
Oh my gosh, I love poutine.
I tried just once in a very Quebecois place when I was living in Quebec.
In Quebec, yes.
Yes, and because it was just once.
Is. I love poutine, so it doesn't matter what.
Yes, it's not my cup of tea. It was not. It was too much.
Okay, but that's what I mean about sauces.
But it's culture, right? So it's part of the culture.
It's part of the culture, but I'm saying that what I start to do, I start to eat just fries. So I started with, and then I started to do my burgers with less ketchup, less mustard, less mayo, right? The condiments.
Yes, back home we have the burgers come with fries, but ketchup is something new, right? It was not so strong.
Now you're doing ketchup?
Yes, but now they're doing some ketchup. But before, fries were fries, just that.
Yeah. Well, Carlos has never had fries and gravy.
It's too much, and it's such a bad combination. I was up to say there when you were talking about all the sauce have sugars. It's such a bad combination, the sugars and the fats, because I'm going to say like this: fats by themselves
Yeah.
Okay, it's something to deal with. But fats and sugars is terrible.
Yeah, that's why we're saying reduce your sauces. So I personally understand how good it tastes because I couldn't have imagined eating food the way how I eat it now where it almost has zero sauce. Maybe sometimes I put lemon on it. That's about it. But the ranch dressings or the Italian dress, I don't, it's not to knock anything. It's just the fact that that's something you're going to have to look at in your diet. How many, like when we eat fish and you put sauces on top of it, different types of gravy.
Yeah,
on top of it,
that's
right?
the problem. I would say fats by themselves they are not so bad as with combined with sugars. That I find that is way more dangerous.
Even though that's a fact, I know that's not where you are. You're trying to figure out how to manage the cravings because knowing that didn't stop me from putting ketchup all over my burger.
But it has
It
sugar.
didn't stop
That's
me
why it
from,
looks. Those tasty stuff is.
but we're giving advice as to how you manage it. That's where we're. That's
Start
what
reducing.
we're,
Yeah, start reducing. I don't know if
So
it
the
is.
reducing it is what helped me because what I always recall is that as I started to reduce the sauces on my food, I started to taste the food. Like
Well,
that was probably the biggest thing. It's like, oh, the burger tastes like this. I didn't know. And initially it didn't taste great. Just like what Carlos was saying, some of the natural sugars, they're not going to taste great. But it's only in comparison to what you know. So if you start just having the taste,
yes, and
learning the new taste, right?
yes, and you cannot base your life on how things taste, right? You have to have
Are you sure? I don't
other
know.
motives. You should have other motives, right? And
True, that's true. Because I don't like how water tastes, and I still have to drink it. So
okay, that's arguable, but no, meaning that it's gonna taste. It's not gonna taste bad. Those the substitutes, sugar substitutes, they don't taste bad. They don't, but they taste slightly different. It's
yeah,
slightly different.
they taste slightly different. Initially, again, I'm gonna say my experience. I don't know what your initial experience was. It tasted bad. It tasted terrible. It tasted like why would I even give up my sugar for this? Like
I do remember.
It tasted terrible.
I think that the first thing
was
that I did was
what is this?
I start having my coffee without sugars.
And that tasted bad.
And I discovered the taste of coffee by itself, and it tastes fantastic.
Your very first coffee without sugar tasted fantastic.
No, it was
Okay.
slowly reducing,
Let's talk
right?
about when you first had sugar, when you first had coffee without sugar,
Well,
and
I
without
like
the white
it.
sugar.
Well, it was not the same. I think that I started doing with the Splenda stuff with the other edulcorants,
okay.
right? And it was not so tasty. It was fine. It was sweet, but not so
Yeah,
nice. And I started reducing that a little bit, half a pocket.
Exactly.
Yes, half of that, and then after the coffee by itself, it tastes fantastic.
Yeah. I was big on tea. I really enjoyed red rose tea. That was the tea that we grew up on. I don't know, but the red rose with sugar, so good. And then eventually, that was another place to put in some willpower. So instead of 2 teaspoons, it was 1, and it was considered like you noticed that it was less sugar, and then to go to like half a teaspoon. So I didn't go to Splenda or Stevia. I just started to go to the no sugar first because the honey made the tea taste not how I liked it. The maple syrup, nope, not so. There wasn't a replacement to keep the flavor of what I liked, and maybe that could be something you might be struggling with. You want it to still taste the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely. There's no way your body's going to tell you,
But
yeah, give me more.
we were saying that
when
it's a
it's
conscious,
not tasting good.
it's a conscious decision that you make, and you are not changing something that tastes good for something that tastes bad. It's not the case. It tastes good for something that tastes almost as nice as the other.
Yeah.
Almost as nice.
We have
as
two
the sugar.
different versions.
So
that's Carlos. Carlos is saying you're changing for something that doesn't taste so bad. That was your experience.
not bad at all.
Yeah. So
in
that
fact.
was, and some of you will have that experience where you try this out, where you reduce your sugar in your coffee or your tea or your juice if you're a juice person, and it doesn't taste so bad, right? Maybe it doesn't taste so bad.
Fruit juice.
Yeah,
Orange juice.
I had to give that up. That was I was never big on fruit juice, but it was part of what we grew up on, and we put a lot of sugar in that Kool-Aid. We did. And eventually we used frozen juice, but we poured in the white sugar. We're making juice, and it's like scoops of sugar that we put in there, and eventually cane sugar, and
Yes.
but we just couldn't get enough. The sweeter the juice, the better.
Yes, and it's not a matter of if it has the pulp, the juice has the pulp because it has fiber, and fiber is so useless that it doesn't have nutritive content, right?
So juice with the pulp.
Well, what happens is when you have
fiber.
fiber counters in some way, it counters the amount of the impact of the sugar. The counters
Okay. I
let's
thought you were talking about
let's say
the taste,
fiber.
the
Yes,
taste
fibers
of
are
it.
not smart, so they are going to counter everything. Yes, again.
Okay.
So it's not like it's going to reduce the sugar and it's not going to reduce the vitamin C that you
Yes.
no, it's going to reduce
Juice with
everything.
the
It's
pulp.
going to flash
Yeah.
because it's
everything.
going to prevent the absorption,
Yeah.
but it's going to flash everything.
Yes.
What
So
is
you don't have
good-
the nutrients.
And what is not good. It's going to flash everything.
Yeah.
So you are not having the sugar, but you are not having the nutrients neither. But you are
That's
having fibers.
Completely not what you want. You do want your.
You want to
Right.
eat something that's nurturing, right? Or drink something that is nurturing.
Yeah.
Not have things in your body that are just pointless, because fiber is the positive side on the fibers is that they counter the amount of how do I say it politely, the not necessary things that we eat.
Yeah, it helps to flush your system.
Yes.
So that's the job of the fiber. But I remember we did switch to juice with pulp, and for me it was the taste. Not the taste, the texture, and that's something I couldn't drink. I can't drink juice with pulp, so that helped me a lot.
Yes.
To not
In
drink
fact,
too much.
it reduces the amount of sugar by itself, because you counter, I don't know, it's 20 grams of sugars and 10 grams of fiber. Okay, it's kind of there are 10 grams of sugar that are flashed with the 10 grams.
Yeah.
Okay, you can kind of do that. But whatever nutrition, if it reduces of the half the sugar, is going to cut the half. Everything else is going to cut the half.
Yeah, but I think what was more important really with the juice was how to make it with less sugar. So that was a bit of a challenge, and I never really got past that, because that's going way back into when I was at home and how much sugar that we added to the
Yes,
juice.
and
So it had to be more of like a group effect, and we kind of did it. It wasn't anything formal. It's just like managing how much sugar we're drinking as more from a family standpoint, right? So,
do you have something like what is the, I don't know to say, like a right amount of sugar, or how we can handle in a healthy way, in a healthy approach, how much sugar? Is there something like that?
Yes, to me, because you know when you should stop eating the sugar, even if it's healthy. Like I know when I've had
Okay.
enough dates, or I've had enough, but again, I'm going to say that's a little bit of willpower. There's
In some
something
way,
there, it's
yes.
willpower.
You know that
or just to fill the you know the the feeling. Like again, there's an emotional attachment to the craving of sugar. So
Yes.
this is based on its emotion. It's not.
Yes, to me, sugars right now is kind of the cheating day. I think that I have sugars twice in the last 2 years, right?
The refined sugar. But
Refined sugar was
we do the healthy
one was
sugar.
two desserts was one
yeah.
on the last Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve.
This year.
Yes.
That they brought something.
New Year's Eve.
I don't
Sorry,
remember what it was.
Remember.
A dessert, and I left the dessert there for a while and said, "It's nice."
Oh yeah, yes.
And
it was a type of cheesecake because I ate
something like that.
I ate from something like that.
And 2023 was at our friends in Montreal that the wife prepared a fantastic what is it, mousse.
Mousse, yeah,
Chocolate mousse.
Yes.
And it was breaking my heart to say no because I don't. Okay, yes, no problem. But it's I would say eat sugars, yes, every now and then, far
and few between the processed sugars.
Your body is able to manage, right? That's why you have insulin, right? Exactly for those cases.
Yeah.
But it's
good point.
I'm gonna say it's like last resource. Last resource. Yes,
if you can avoid the processed or refined sugar, do that. Why? Because of the toxicity. Because now that Carlos is saying it, I'm remembering when he had done that dessert. Because I haven't been as strict as him, so I'm going to be, like I said, I'm doing certain sugars. He's way more strict with the not eating sugars. And I remember him having like lower back pain the next day.
Ooh,
I remember him struggling with aches on the knees.
Yes, for a couple of days.
Something for a couple of days.
On the joints. I say, what happened?
Yeah, and it was just
well, the only weird thing that happened was that chocolate mousse.
Yeah.
That was fantastic because I have to say it was tasting fantastic.
It tastes great going in, but once it starts to metabolize, you're going to have to pay the price. Your body,
and I don't want to pay that price because I do remember how I used to feel 10 years ago, even younger, and I don't want to change that. So if there is something that today keeps me away from sugar, is I don't want to go back to that state.
Yes, and see, that's where we go back to the belief, right? You have to believe, you really have to believe that what you're putting into your mouth is the best thing for you. And when you look at that refined sugar, you need to make a conscious decision. This is not what I want to put into my body. I want to put in, some other version of the sugar. Because again, we're not challenging the craving. The craving will fall off, like Carlos was saying, through the insulin aspect, the hormonal aspect of the body. But that emotional thing, the habit.
It's gonna take a little time.
It's gonna take a little bit of time.
Yes,
right?
don't try to challenge something that is so like in your.
It's innate at this point.
It's part of yourself, right?
Yeah,
exactly. It's part of yourself having the craving, sugar craving. Don't challenge that because you are gonna get crazy trying to get rid of. But making, as you saying, the right steps, and try to slowly increase your willpower, you're gonna start getting rid of that, and it's like a kind of a strategy, right? It's how are we going to face that?
Because we fall into it because it's just lifestyle and it's how we grew up, and so we find ourselves it's a treat.
And 50 years ago,
desserts were always a treat.
30 years ago, no one was saying this sugar was bad.
I know for us, it wasn't that they said sugar was bad. We always had to do weekly or monthly purges, like an actual purge.
But it was your culture.
To get rid of the sugar. I know it was specific to worms and all of that stuff, and that was just part of it, but it was never correlated to like, okay, that's bad sugar and you're allowed to eat it, They just make sure that the body
Okay.
detoxed it. Right?
Not bad.
So not bad, right?
Not bad.
But
Wow.
I do remember, fast forward into adult life, I remember like when I finally was able to finish my last bottle of ketchup and I didn't replace it. And then I let go of mustard and then I let go of mayo so the condiments, I know we were talking about sauces, but I just want to finish with that, where the condiments of things that I was adding on top of hot dogs and burgers, and hot dogs a whole other sausages. That's a whole other process thing. But first, the sugar of the condiments of like that kind of refined, because when you look at the bottle, when you look at the ingredients of ketchup and mayo and all that, you're gonna see that there's quite a bit of sugar.
Yeah. So that, as we were saying, the homework.
The
Homework is start reading the ingredients.
Start reading the ingredients. Start bagging up things in your kitchen. Start making a conscious decision.
Yes.
That you're going to start to reduce your sugar.
Yes.
Don't try the cold turkey. Like I'm really, really stressing that. Do not try cold turkey, because you're going to bounce back from that and you're going to binge.
It's kind of a long-term strategy, right?
Long-term,
it has been with you for years, so it's going to take some time to get rid of. But start taking action. Start doing and being consistent on the taking action, right?
On the taking, yes.
Every day, if you are going to be eating a cookie, check what is the cookie, read again, what is the cookie, what it has, what kind of sugar it has.
One of the things that helped me, and I'm going to make this really, really graphic so that it can maybe scare you a little bit, it's the fact that when you're eating the sugar, there are times that it's not you eating the sugar, it's the parasite that's in you that's eating the sugar. So keep that in mind, that you're feeding your parasites, feeding your worms. Maybe that's going to help you to...
Could you talk later about how to detox?
Detox the parasites.
Yes.
Detox parasites or the sugar?
But because that's something that could help people to get rid of the cravings.
That's true.
Can do an episode about that, or some quick...
Squeeze it in now? Should we
squeeze it in now? Something quick? Perhaps you have something quick that can be started using? Okay,
so something quick that we had a mixture. I don't even know what the mixture is. It was called, was specifically for removing worms from the body. What I can say now that I understand is that anything bitter, so the...
Oh, bitters are great for
aloes, aloe, like a real aloes, not aloe juice from the grocery store. There's something called cascara, which is a really bitter bark.
Yes.
Are you mindful?
Yeah, I have seen that.
Okay.
It tastes like...
Oh my gosh, cascara. Ugh. Even boiling it used to be like, just smelling it in the air, and the smell of it was bitter on my tongue. Now you have a few easier ways to do it. Health food store, they have things for just removing parasites, but there's a definitive correlation between sugar and parasites. When your parasites start to become less, you're going to find that you're going to have less sugar cravings. Another easy way is clove tea. Add cloves to your coffee, to your just.
Yes.
Sometimes I just eat a clove. That's a natural way to help reduce the eggs, because they're laying eggs.
Yes, and it's also like things like cascara. It's not tasty, but again, you're trying to reinforce. You're trying to use your willpower to defeat something that is toxic for your body.
Yes.
So by any means necessary, if you have to start doing things that are not so tasty, like the teas, the cloves. Start by somewhere, right? Yeah. And you start feeling that you are doing something, that you are fighting, right?
They take action.
They take action. No, it's not that you're giving up and you're going to have to the doctor, and the doctor is going to give you pills and things drugs to counter.
Yes.
So
it's a lifestyle change. The steps to getting rid of the cravings and and just understand it is a journey. Take your time. We are also going to say measure it a little bit. You should measure the action that's working and what's not working maybe? Because you need some type of reference. If today's your day one, okay, this is your day one of 1 teaspoon of sugar in your coffee. And you do
Yes.
that for 2 weeks. Some like measurable.
Yes, I'm gonna say what is your bring your
Like your awareness.
your awareness, your mind, make up your mind. Start reading the ingredients. You have to know what you are eating.
Yes,
You
yes.
should be you should be
More-
aware of what you are
yeah,
eating.
yeah.
Mainly when it's not something what is in the box. You open the box and you eat what it is inside. You don't even know what it is.
Yes,
Read
yeah.
the ingredients.
I'm very guilty of that. For years, I never read the ingredients. Even though people were telling me read the ingredients, I'm like, well, I'll get around to that. So,
But that's a step forward, right?
Yeah.
Now you know what you are eating, right?
yes, yes.
Read,
yes,
and
yeah,
read the ingredients make sense of the ingredient.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, if there is a RF21, what it is that?
Google it and find out. Like,
Yeah.
that's the nice thing.
Because you are eating something that you don't know what it is, and obviously
You're empowering yourself.
the impact
right?
of those things that you don't know what it has an impact.
It has an impact.
Yes,
Kidney, liver is going to try. Kidney and liver, they're going to try to clean it. They're going to try to clear it from the body. Our elimination system, that's where the impact is going to show up. The inflammation when the lymph system is having problems breaking it down, that's when it's going to get stuck in the joints.
Yes, and I was saying usually is that our body is able to flush to manage toxicity up to some
Up to a certain-
extent.
yeah.
But if your day-to-day food is based on sugars or have sugars every day, well, at a given point, it's going to say, well, it's enough.
Yes.
Type 2 diabetes.
Yeah,
I cannot deal with this anymore. It's too much. So take action, read the ingredients, start measuring what you are eating. You open a box of cookies. I'm saying cookies, it could be anything else, right? And say, okay, I'm going to eat 5 cookies, 3 cookies. Yes, and try to stick to that. If it's not 5, it's 6, okay? But try to set the limits of the boundaries of what you are doing. So
Yeah,
try to claim the like
claim-
everything.
Take back your power.
Yes,
Yeah, take
as
back your
always, as
Yeah,
always.
Yes.
Be you the one that is deciding what is happening in your life.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's it. That's how we're gonna ditch the sugar. That's how we are going to do it without.
I'm gonna
Check,
kill
you
this
know.
bastard. But but you have to take it like that. It's them or it's us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Is the sugar craving gonna win, or it's your healthy body that's going to overcome this? So yes. So hopefully this has been
Yes.
helpful.
Be strong.
Be strong. You're not
We're
alone
gonna defeat
in this.
this bastard.
You're
Yes.
not alone. You're not alone in this, and that's why we wanted to share. We're going to talk more. We're going to have other videos, obviously, that can expand on other aspects of sugar and carbohydrates, and maybe we'll even revisit the parasites.
Yeah, we didn't get into
But-
details of anything in the technical details because for that you can have your doctor, you can Google, you can. Eventually, we can talk a little
Yeah.
more in details about technical stuff. You know that it's bad, and you know there is a way to counter.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's basic stuff,
Yes.
and it's relatable and it's doable, right? So relatable meaning that you have the experience of other people that went through the same stuff, and it's doable because, like us, there were a bunch of people that is able to manage this. So
Yeah, we as close as we can. We're just sharing from our experience, and I have to say, I didn't think I would get over my sugar cravings, sugar addiction, sugar. I really didn't. I had no awareness that I could get to this point where I'm able to like eat without all my ketchup and and mayo and mustard. Fries without gravy. To me it was heaven. So we understand. I understand that perspective. Carlos has the awareness of like from smoking to like, dealing with refined sugars and just getting to a point where it's like just Christmas and he was just not able to do the carbonated water with a little bit of flavor. Was just
No, it tastes.
it's
too strong.
So I'm just saying if we can do this, believe me, I think everybody can do this. Everybody can find their way out of the bad sugar cravings and get to a place where you are.
When did you say that we have been taught to like these things? It's not so natural.
Yeah, there's
we're
that
talking with
aspect
someone.
of, we're taught to we've taught ourselves. But what I was going to say is that you, as a reward, I want you to really hear this, that we still eat sugar. We just eat sugar that doesn't spike our insulin. So it's not like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not I'm giving up my cravings and I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to be able to eat sugar again. No, give up the refined and find your way on that other scale of healthy sugar that doesn't trigger insulin, sugar that doesn't create more disease in your system. I hope that.
And you can have a sugar every now and then, like the sweet taste of this.
Of the refined sugar.
Or the replacements. I said you can have it any time, right? It's
after you've actually overcome it a bit. I wouldn't recommend if you're in the process of reducing, keep going in that direction of reducing.
Well, you're gonna leave the cravings behind. That's something that is gonna happen. So what I'm saying is that if you want something sweet, you can have it, but you're not gonna want perhaps every day.
Cravings will ever go away. That much I can't sign off on that. I think it's just a natural part of
the thing is
comfort.
You cannot deny that steak tastes good. You cannot deny that. Yes, again, something sweet tastes good.
It tastes good, but what I'm saying is I still have cravings. I just don't eat refined sugar with my cravings. Wait.
When you say I'm craving, you don't get up at midnight to go look for a. No, it's not that. It's not that.
Oh yeah, it's not that kind of push.
It's not that kind of push.
I do enjoy.
That's what I'm saying. Okay,
I enjoy the dates.
Absolutely, yes, right.
Yeah. But I'm gonna say that part of it is a combination of reduced parasites. Maybe eliminating, because I'm really big on the detoxing, so it's not I'm not feeding any parasites.
But because what I'm saying is that there is nothing wrong to enjoy what you are eating, right? Yeah. If it is salty because salty tastes good, if it is sweet because sweet tastes good, if it is whatever, it tastes good. But that doesn't mean that it's gonna determine your behavior, right? It's not gonna wake you up.
It's not controlling me. That's what you're saying. Okay, yes, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You can eat anytime.
You will have cravings, but they're not controlling you. Very true. Let's switch it around to that.
But me, I don't think that it's craving, but me, I have cravings from steaks every day, right?
Yes.
I want to eat because you're hungry. So.
Yeah. But hunger and the cravings of sweet. I don't know if they correlate. I don't know if they're.
Yeah, in the sense that I'm going to say like this: being hungry is one thing, and have a craving or having
the desire for a
particular taste is something different. Right? You're not hungry, right?
Yeah.
I usually say, if you're hungry, okay, eat nurturing stuff, right? For the dense food.
Eat the things that are whatever you eat should be. Filling.
Exactly.
It should be nurturing. It should start where healthy obviously is first.
Yes, whatever is healthy, eat that.
Yes.
And eventually, perhaps you want something sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know if every day, but perhaps you want something sweet. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I'm being really upfront. I do crave something sweet. I like it, but like you said, it's not a. It doesn't control anything. I can crave something and not eat it.
And your day to day, your daily intake is not based on that.
No.
Far from
no,
there, right?
No. Whereas, years ago it was very much like an escape. It was a coping mechanism. It's had so many other
Yes,
emotional
layers.
attachments to that. Yes.
Yes. Because you are not in control. That's what the first thing perhaps that we want to make here is that to be, as you say, take your health back, take control of your life, take control of your emotion, take back control of your emotion, of your cravings, of what you eat, or how. Take it. You have to be the one. You have to be the one deciding what is okay and what is not.
Yes. Yeah. And we're encouraging you to say you can do it. If we've done it, you can do it. One step at a time, one action. The step, we're really saying one action at a time. So if it's just a matter of reducing the amount of sugar you put in your tea, coffee, or juice, or if it's just a matter of packing up something in your kitchen right now, putting it in a bag and just saying, okay, you have to say I'm done with it, more so than I'm going to put it aside and see if I can do without it. Take a little radical step and put it in the garbage and
enjoy the conquering your health.
Yes.
That tastes good.
Yes. So it's Ingrid and
Carlos.
Yes, and thank you for tuning in to Sugar Beach. If you're really enjoying this content, if you're loving it, if it's helpful, please subscribe, press that subscribe button, share our channel, share it with other people that you know will also benefit them in terms of the advice that we're giving, and hopefully you like what's happening. And also, Carlos is always saying, share with us what you'd like us to talk about.
Yes.
And also click the like. If you like it, not just subscribe, but also click the like button. That does something with the algorithm.
Leave some comment and
it will matters.
Yes, we read all the comments.
Yes. Right. See you at the beach.